Welcome to another video, the same every time, IGCSE Maths, GCSE Maths, looking at right angle trigonometry, but we have stepped it up to the next level really, where we're dealing with questions where we cannot go straight to the answer. We have to find, first of all, something that they are not asking us for in order that we can find the answer that they are actually asking us for. This is 5 marks. If you see something like this on your exam, don't be put off. It's just 2 right-angled triangles stuck together. So that means we're going to have to do something with the first right-angled triangle and then something with the second right-angled triangle. We just have to split it into 2 separate right-angled triangles. Let's see what's going on here. 5 marks, so it's not going to be easy, but let's find out. So the diagram shows 2 right-angled triangles, PQS, so P to Q to S, that's the triangle on the left-hand side. RQT is the triangle on the right-hand side. And they don't tell us a lot. They just say calculate the angle QTR. So going from Q to T to R, the angle they want us to find is that angle just there. So try to find the right angle triangle. There it is. That's the right angle triangle that we would have to use. And what we are going to need then is 2 sides. In order to find an angle, I'm going to need to know 2 sides. I already know the 9 centimeter side. And I need one of the other sides. I don't think I've got much chance of finding T to R. So before we can find the missing angle, we are going to need to find that side just there. The angle, the side from Q to T. So if we can do that, then we should be able to find the missing angle. So let's have a go. Can I find the side from Q to T? Probably. Let's find out. Have a look at the other right angle triangle here. So the other right angle triangle just here. And let's label the sides in this particular right angled triangle. So this side would be the H, that's the longest side, the hypotenuse opposite the right angle. And the entire side, forget about the letter T in there or the 4 in there. The entire side is the O side. So in this right angle triangle, the one that I've written out in blue, we've got O and H. So that means that we're dealing with sine. So O divide by H. O divide by H, which was 18, is sine of the angle, sine 28 degrees. So dividing by 18 on that side, multiply up by 18 on that side, 18 times sine 28 degrees. Calculate a job, 18 times sine 28 gives me this, so 8.4504813. So that's the entire distance from S to Q. From S to Q, the whole thing, the whole distance there. But remember, what I actually wanted was the distance from T to Q, because we were going to use this triangle just here. So what I want is the distance from T to Q. Well, if S to Q is 8.4504 and so on, then if I subtract a 4 from that length, the whole length just there, that whole distance from Q to S is 8.4504. If I subtract a 4, that will give me the length from Q to T, or T to Q as I've written down here. So 8.4504813, take away 4. So that's the distance from Q to T. Okay, I'm going to call it QT this time. So Q to T, or T to Q, is going to be 4.4504 I've said it before, do not use a rounded answer in a calculation. Either use the full calculator answer or go to 5 digits after the decimal point. So now we should be able, what do we have to do? Calculate the angle QTR. So they want us to find this angle just there. Well, actually, I think it might be helpful if I just sketch out this triangle again. So I'm sketching out the triangle. That's the angle they want us to find, the angle at T. This is 9, and the side there is 4.45048. That's the angle that they want us to find. So finding an angle, thinking of the first video in this set of videos, we need to label the sides. Well, we've got the right angle and the angle. So that's the adjacent side, isn't it? It involves the right angle and the other angle. Then opposite the angle we want to find, the 9 is the opposite side. So remembering, SOHCAHTOA, it's tan, isn't it? So to find an angle, we need to do the inverse tan, thinking back to the first video of this one. O divided by A, 9 divided by 4.45048. And possibly you've still got that 4.45048 on your calculator, so you can use your full calculator answer. So inverse tan, fraction button, 9 divided by the previous answer, bracket. Okay, well, check your answer. Try it on your calculator to make sure that you can operate your calculator and get the correct answer. So 63.687666518. And I actually used my full calculator answer there. If you used a slightly truncated answer, you may get the last few digits are slightly different, but that's perfectly acceptable on an exam. So the angle, I'm going to write my final answer to a sensible degree of accuracy, 63.7 degrees. And I'm rounding that to 1 decimal place. 1 decimal place is sensible for angles in degrees, but always do go back to the question and just check to see whether or not they have asked you to round in a particular way. So there we are. That was quite a tricky question, wasn't it, with the 2 triangles there? But don't be put off by the fact that it looks difficult and it's worth 5 marks, because all we are doing is splitting it into 2, if you like, separate questions, which are questions that we've seen before, and they're the same every time. We just have to take the answer from one question and use it in the next part. And as usual, if the video was useful to you, then please do think about liking the video and subscribing to the channel, because that's useful to us. Thank you very much for watching, and I will return for the next video.